Y'all, we live in difficult times. There's war, political unrest, the pandemic, poverty, families being torn, communities ripped by gun violence and people dying every day, police, injustice. It's all bringing so much pain. But y'all, we can look inside our minds and we can understand who we are, become better, and do this thing like we've never done it before. But it all starts with our mental health, and I know we can do it. I believe in you because I believe in me, and I believe in us. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Therapy is Life, where thinking, feeling, and experiencing well-being is what we do. Ho, 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 and Happy New Year to you. That's right. We're here today celebrating the end of the year. You know, happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas. Whatever you celebrate, we got you today. Today, I want to talk a little bit about our deepest, highest hopes and deepest fears. That's right, y'all. We're going into the new year. We in the sometimes the most difficult part of the year, the holidays. And we might do a lot of thinking and reflecting about who we are, where we're going, what we're going to do next. So I want to talk to my brothers. I got Maul G over here. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
The BK Watts.
Dud up, whoa.
And of course, last but not least, Ohio's own Marius.
Yeah, in the building. OH.
Oh, hey, yo. Yeah, and what about them Cavaliers?
Cavs is rolling too.
You know.
Yeah.
The cook is crazy.
Championship is coming
It's coming. Without LeBron?
without Brian, which is crazy.
I never thought I'd ever hear that. Championship with the Cavs without LeBron.
Seriously,
That
That's crazy.
Because before it wasn't even. Yeah. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
So that would definitely be considered a high hope right there, right?
That's a high hope.
Win against.
But it don't feel like it's super high. It feel like it's real.
It's tangible, right?
You feel me? It's you can put your fingertips on that.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can put your fingertips on it. I can see it, man. You actually believe that. So I can see it happening, man.
It's obtainable.
I mean, really, when you think about it right now, the most serious threats to them is Boston, which I think they could beat them, and OKC.
Oklahoma's been rolling too. Milwaukee's coming along now, though.
Milwaukee's coming along.
They're coming along now. It's all about who's going to be healthy at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The healthiest team is always the one who wins, usually.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, fellas, man, getting in this conversation about hopes and fears, you know, as a therapist, sometimes I like to explore this with people because I think it's important to understand the things that you really hope for and the things that you fear. Because what we might find is those things are oftentimes directly related. And if we don't address the one, then the other one could have happened, or maybe in trying to do all we can to avoid our fears, sometimes they will happen. To make this point a little bit further, I remember this story. Y'all remember this movie, A Wonderful Life?
Man, a classic.
A classic, right? So
Black and white status.
Exactly. 1946.
No color in the movie and no colors in the movie.
This is true. I don't think Sidney Poitier was around for that one. He wasn't
around for that one. You know, there was a sister in the movie that she was a maid.
Was she?
Of course she was.
She found her grandmama.
Yeah, and then there was,
of course she was.
and she was like the nanny and the maid. She was doing it all.
Man.
It's a good movie though, man. Still though, it's a good movie though.
It's a good movie though.
It is.
So there's another point in there that I want to make about that, but I'll do it at the end of this whole discussion about hopes and fears, right? So this guy George Bailey, I think that was his name in the movie. He was had come to a point in his life where he obviously was feeling overwhelmed and feeling like nothing mattered to him, and he actually was going to, I believe, take his own life because he was so frustrated with the things that was occurring. But to save his life, there was this angel that came along, and this angel actually came to him while he was at the river where he was going to jump in. The angel jumps in. Of course, you know, angels, they look like us when they come out, right? Be careful because you may entertain angels unawarely. So, and
Never know.
the angel jumped in the water. So George had always been this guy that would try to help people, save people. So the angel figured out by knowing his backstory, as we would say in therapy, assessing people's background, he figured out what to do to try to help George. And so what he does, he jumps in the water. And so George stops focusing on himself and he jumps in the water to save the angel. He gets out the water, of course. They begin to talk and everything. And George is telling him all this stuff that he feels bad about in his life. And in fact, he had been doing this business for a long time, the savings and loan business. And they were supposed to be inspected. And the inspector had came to his office on that day looking to check his books. And his uncle had lost $8,000, which was stolen by a man by the name of Mr. I think Potter. He was like the
Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter. He was like, might call him the Scrooge. So listen, the relationship that he had with Mr. Potter kind of made me feel like Mr. Potter was like his like the black man feels about the white man sometimes. Yeah. He was feeling like Mr. Potter was always after him trying to oppress him, right? But he didn't know that Mr. Potter had stolen the money. He thought his uncle had lost the money. He was being expected, and he felt that he had lost everything. Despite the fact that he had saved his little brother when he was young, despite the fact his brother turned out to be a naval pilot, he was able to marry the girl of his dreams, had wonderful kids, and had helped so many people. He became so disparaged by the loss of this $8,000, he wanted to be gone. And when I saw that, I said, you know what? His deepest fear was facing him. And when his fear that was facing him became visible and very present, he forgot about all the things that he hoped for and all the blessings he had in his life. Right. And he was in a very dark place. So with that being said, fellas, I want us to have a discussion about what some of our highest hopes and deepest fears and how we might deal with those hopes and fears. You out here listening to us today. I know I get all energized, but I'm serious about this. Understanding your hopes, understanding your fears are very important to your physical and mental health, because when you understand them, you can regulate them and hopefully have realistic expectations about what your life is and what your life will not be. So if I had to start with a high hope, I always like to say, I'm hopeful that me and my family will maintain good health, because I think that good health is more important than riches. Hey, what y'all got to say? You can
agree with that, man, because I don't know. I think for me, it's just the evolution of thinking and being and existing and understanding the importance of life, man, because it was a point in time where, you know, as a young man aspiring to be successful, you know, you look at the material gains as the hopes and dreams, right? Getting the house, the car, you know, getting, you know, this certain income level, you know, for a career. And, you know, once you obtain some of those things, you see that, you know, as Biggie said, sometimes more money, more problems, right? Or
exactly.
or just, you know, those things don't equate to true joy and, you know, satisfaction.
Exactly.
But then it evolves your thinking when you think about, you know, the things that money can't buy, like somebody truly being there for you, love and solidarity and good health, like you said. So it's like it's people who are millionaires who, you know, get cancer, you know, and it's like, you know, all the money in the world can't necessarily make that cancer vanish. So it's like, you know, the good health and the solidarity of love and true, you know, just passion for living overtakes, you know, the material gains that you wish for and hope for. And you know, I can imagine when you don't have those things, yeah, you're going to want those things because you think that once you obtain certain things, it's going to bring that to you. But it's only just a small portion of satisfaction or joy that brings to your life once you get it. You know, it's the things that money can't buy that are more important from my perspective.
Yeah.
What's some of y'all highest hopes?
Man, it's tough because once you've produced another person, everything kind of become about them. And so, you know, everything for me is just hoping that my daughter get to be like everything. You know what I mean? Like everything. And it's dope because I told y'all before on another episode, like I'm like copy paste of my mother, you know, like gifts, talents, things that I've done. And my mother has taken those things to, you know, she a semester from her doctorate, and you know, we talked about that, and my mother out of there. I am similar to her in so many ways. I'm not going that route, but I'm taking all these things that I, you know, was able to gain from her, and you know, these talents, these gifts, and I'm expanding into everything that I want out of life. And seeing my daughter be so similar to both of us and have all the same talent, all the same passion, all the same drive without it being pushed on her, forced on her, none of that. It's just, she just want to do these things. She want to make music. She want to, you know what I mean? Like she want to dance. She want to create. Like I want her to genuinely have all those things. So that's at the top of the list for me, is her being able to achieve all of those things. And I make sure I maintain what I'm doing so that she has an example to look at, to understand that, you know, when people will talk down and say, oh, you know, don't do this because you'll be a starving artist. Fam, I'm not starving. Mm-hmm. And I want her to understand the reality of what it is. It's like not letting other people put their expectations or their limitations onto you, because that's them and not you. So yeah, like highest hope for me is her being able to do everything how she want and be able to live how she want and experience, you know, what can come from just being like the ultimate version of you know, what had been passed down now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's top for me.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
for me, I don't have kids, so I know what you're saying, because with my niece, like I hope that for her too.
Yeah.
She feels like she can achieve anything that she puts her mind to, and whatever it is, and me just be, you know, an example for her, or she can look at me and see like, oh, he's traveling or he's doing these things, and I inspire her to do that. So I definitely understand that. But for me, my highest hope will probably be tied into what I feel like my purpose is as well. Is just to be able to tell my story and try to help people through their mental journey, right? Because I think at the end of the day, me being an African-American man in this world is just tough. It's tough for us to navigate our feelings and how we feel. So my highest hope is that, you know, through projects that, you know, I'm getting ready to work on, and through telling my story and people understand my background, where I come from, is that, you know, you can still make it no matter what happens, even if you just grow up in a house with just you and your mom, just single parent. Like, and, you know, I had my father growing up. So people can see me and be like, dang, even though I didn't have that, I could still be a man. I could still operate and do things in the right manner. You know, I don't have to go to the streets and different things like that. So that'd be my highest hope, is, you know, hopefully helping some younger kids, or just helping men out in general, like through their mental health journey and whatever that looks like.
Hey, you know, adding to what you say, man, of course, you know, I grew up in a different family situation, you know, had both of my parents, but, you know, wasn't wealthy. And, you know, my mom always pushed us with school, you know, she would say things like, you know, if you get C's, you're average.
No, it's funny because
Like,
my
you-
niece would tell you, like I get on her. Like my niece she gets all A's and B's, but like if she gets a B, I'm like, why do you have a B? What do you mean? That's good. No, you should be getting all A's. There's no reason for I'll be really hard on her. So like, I understand what you're saying. Like
so
with the C's.
Yeah, my mom would be like that, and you know, growing up in some places now, and I say maybe those might be considered projects now. I don't know, but you know, I lived in a trailer park before. Yep, but it was a nice new trailer.
Okay.
Look,
All
check
the
this out.
amenities.
Check this out. So
Hey, we got new tires.
what? Hey, look, we got new tires. Look, I took my kids traveling down to North Carolina and South Carolina, trying to show them where I grew up and stuff, right? And we went to the trailer park where I lived, and the trailers don't look so new no more.
Man.
And they was like, "Daddy, you still here?" I be like, "Yeah."
Man, my fault, man.
Talking about them new tires. Man.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
But it was it did have new tires on it, man. It was new. It was brand new, and we got it, man. It was it was a duplex model.
Trailers actually can be kind of plush on the low, man. Like,
Yeah.
people don't realize, man.
You walk in, they be nice.
Yeah,
People
nice.
stayed in one in Chicago, man, and we got into that. She had a little jacuzzi tub in hers and everything, man.
Trailer?
No doubt.
No,
A
that's
jacuzzi
crazy.
in the
No. One of the homies now, they got a bus. The school bus completely gutted out and flipped into
School
a whole,
bus?
the whole
Really?
front to the back, crazy. I'm talking about like rooms in that joint, like
got a
beds,
picture of
the
this?
kitchen, everything. No, I wish I did,
Man, get
bro.
a picture.
Like,
You gotta get it.
I feel
Picture.
like because they didn't show me because I can't go in it because they got cats and I'm super allergic. So they didn't show me,
okay,
but I'm like,
okay.
damn, that looks sweet. And they be pulling up to the crib with it, and I'll just be like, man, I want to go in that bus so bad.
Hey, but Joe, for real, down south, I don't know if they do it here in Cleveland. Down south, man, people will get trailers, and then what they'll do is they'll, of course, get a piece of land, and then they will add a porch to it, and put a back, like a what you call it,
Like a patio.
a patio or something back there on the back of it, man, and set it up, build around it. You would think it's an actual regular house.
house.
Man.
Yeah.
But
Really built
it's
off
got
of the
wheels
trailer.
underneath the foundation.
Man, that's wild.
that boy
They'll
up
do
and
that
move
down
it.
south, man. But man, I had to let my kids see that I lived in a trailer
Yeah.
before, man, and just to let them understand, hey, man, even though I grew up a certain way, you know, that it didn't stop me from moving and progressing and having experiences. Just like speaking of being a man and having his highest hopes, man, one of the most motivating factors for me was the 3 days I spent behind a jail cell. Boy, that was like, oh no! When I
Do it
got
to you.
out, I was so mad. Ooh. Look, I didn't even wait for my ride. When I got out, I started walking
was
down
out.
Euclid Avenue.
Trying to
Like,
get out. I'm gone. I need
Appreciating
to
that freedom.
hey, the first place I walked to was church. Like,
Lord, don't never send me here again. You know.
man, I was so on the mission after that. So, you know, speaking to your point, man, just being able to like be a witness for everyone else and letting them know, hey, man, you can become anything that you want to become, man. Even that whole idea of the manger story and the idea of Jesus being born in a manger, being born at the lowest point, gave us all something to look at and say, dang, this person can be at the lowest point ever and still rise to the top. And don't even need to be called or said, look, you know, I'm the king or I'm the greatest. Nah, but I'm gonna be at the bottom where you at, so you can relate with me. So when I come up, you can see how to do it. I think that is so powerful,
That
bro.
is.
Sure. For sure.
I respect it. There's man, cuz man, my mind is just the worst, bro. It's like, yeah, you was all the way at the bottom, but like your dad was God. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was all the way at the bottom too.
Were you really
my
at
dad,
the
my dad was
bottom?
broke.
really at the bottom. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like how at the bottom was he?
I started at the bottom, now I'm here. But to us, the perception was he was at the bottom. So now
Right,
we read the story, we understand it, we see after the fact. But for our sake, like being at the bottom, I mean, it's more relatable. Because if you'd been born up in the Hamptons,
Very different.
you'd be like, man, you ain't got nothing. Hey, man, you can't tell me nothing.
But you know what though? Exactly what you said though. Started at the bottom. That's exactly like Drake. You wasn't never at the bottom, bro. Like so, it's like it's not relatable. We can't get with you, bro. Like you was on TV, like when we was teenagers.
Yeah.
When were you at the bottom, bro? Like, because you wasn't on TV and poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
It was a mainstream show.
Like, right.
Degrassi is like
on Nicolas, Degrassi, yeah.
It's not like it was on a show that like only had one season.
Right.
Right.
Like, bro, like
Barely aired,
you were not only a TV star in your country, you were a TV star in our country.
Yeah,
We didn't even know that was Canadian at the time. You know what I'm saying? We thought y'all was just some regular Americans. Nobody paid no mind to the Aboot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, bro, you ain't started no bottom.
But seriously though, if we had to think about rappers who started at the bottom, but Raindrops, we came from nothing to something bad and bougie.
Oh, dumb.
Terrible. Terrible.
But hey, coming up though, so I mean, I love your point, man, because yeah, you want to be an example, man, and this thing about being a father, man, I think is critical too, because you know you want to see your kids do good things, do great things, and
Right.
and be successful, and sometimes you know we don't think about this, but I feel like one of the greatest life after death things is when people look at your kids and see you and they achieve things because you love your kids, you want them to do good, but when they do good, man, people see them and they see you. Like you've never met my father or mother, but when you hear me, when you see me, you see my parents, man. And that's important to understand, that our legacy is in our children, and when they do well, we do well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even when we dead and gone, we do well.
Keeps going. Yeah.
Keep it going. Yeah.
You know, for sure. I mean, it's just that. I think what it is, any one of us can think to, you know, having whatever dreams, goals, aspirations for yourself,
Right.
and you can probably look at a time when they were bigger than what they are now, and understand that in hindsight, that viewpoint that you had of what your life could be or what the world was changed because life beat your ass, because that's what it does. And it changes everything for you, and it brings you into a space of reality where you like have to eventually, it beats you down enough, it will change how you walk through this world.
Right, man.
And you lose something that you cannot ever get back. And so for me, my thing is, that's what I mean when I'm talking about my baby, is like, I don't want her to lose that.
Right.
I want her to keep that forever and just go. So it's like, it's impossible for, you know, to shelter her from everything, but it's also trying to make sure that I hold her hand in the ways that I can while she go through things, so that she still can remain who she is.
Right, man. That's so deep, man.
And I look at it from like that perspective of thinking generationally, right? Like you want your legacy to be able to live beyond your years on this earth. Like I think about the foundation that my grandfather left, right? It's things that my kids are experiencing in the life that they're living right now. And he passed when I was 13. So they definitely have no physical connection with him. But the legacy that he lived, you know, my mother and father passed to me, and I'm passing it to them, you know, and things that they're experiencing and that I hope that they pass to their kids, you know, is a generational legacy that, you know, was established before. And I'm sure that there was fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers who put that into him, you know, that, you know, that they're experiencing. And to what you had said earlier about just, you know, the DNA is so powerful, just how genetically you get gifts and talents, man, and the arts, and, you know, just how you're thinking and your gifts that you present to the world that was passed to you, that, you know, you ain't even have nothing to do with.
Right, exactly.
It's something that was passed to you.
Right.
You reap where you have not sown.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly, man.
No,
And
real life.
I'm experiencing the same thing with my kids, man, just seeing them use their artistic gifts that I know I had and that my parents gave me, that they're, using and hopefully taking to another level as well. So, those things happen generationally that we don't even understand. We don't even have nothing to do with. It's just something that, passed through the DNA.
Yeah. Some good talk, man. What are some more hopes, man, you guys have? I can think of some.
Oh, bro, I hope I crack the earth before I get up out of here, bro. Like
You mean?
I need I don't know. I feel like genuinely the things that I've put into this world have had such a significant impact, and I'm on the smallest scale possible. Like and I would hope that I can continue to press forward the way that I have and grow and get more eyes and attention on not just myself, but just the way that I operate and move with my people and the people that I have around me. Like, think about it. Like, I started a podcast in my basement. From a podcast in my basement turned into connecting with other podcasters, turned into creating a network, turned into opening a studio, turned into connecting with somebody like you, bringing you on as a client, you putting the faith in me to come on and spending your money to put into this thing. And then boom, that turns into us getting a deal with the biggest Black podcast network in the nation.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Kudos.
and it's like I said, it's still small scale in the grand scheme of what it can be. But the fact that came from my mind, and then me just being tenacious and moving forward in all of those ways brought us here.
Yeah.
I know what power is here in my mind. When I leave Earth, like, I would not be satisfied unless I got everything in here out in some way. Whether I sit down and, like, low key, the sauce is I sit down and I record my ideas. I talk them out. I've been stockpiling them and getting them ready and getting them prepared. I also low key be like recording messages for my daughter, like thinking about different points in time or moments and things that might happen for her in her life, because ain't no guarantees that I'm gonna be here to see them. So like, and I'm trusting that to somebody in the event that I get up out of here, those things can still get out here.
Gotcha.
Like, cause that's how important that is to me.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. I would say just kind of to go along with the holiday season that we're living in right now, as twofold, as a Christian, with the holiday of Christmas, my hope is that we get a little bit, not even a little bit, a lot away from the consumerism aspect of Christmas,
Right.
and stop giving all of our hard-earned resources at this time of the year to corporate America. And for those who really, celebrate Christmas, get back to reverencing and understanding the season of, being thankful and paying homage to the birth of Christ. That to me, as if we're going to celebrate this season, let's get back to the origins and the real reason for the season, right? And then I will also say, as an African American, I grew up celebrating Kwanzaa. Me and my family celebrate Kwanzaa since I was a kid, and it's 7 principles in Kwanzaa. And as an African American, I would pray that because another thing that I hate to see that corporate America kind of done gripped this hold on it, and trying to commercialize it and find ways to make money off of it and make it an all-inclusive thing, which is cool for people to be able to respect Kwanzaa. But I want African Americans to understand the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, and understanding that those 7 principles, being unity, collective work and responsibility, self-determination, cooperative economics, creativity, faith, these things that Kwanzaa is representing for African Americans. I hope that we understand what those principles are and activate those principles, because those principles were established in a time frame when we needed it as a people, and we need those principles more than ever right now. We need to be able to understand how, if we utilize those principles, how it will empower us as a people, and it will take us to where we ultimately need to be, and this is not to, bash any other race of people, but for African Americans who have been marginalized and been oppressed more than any other race in this planet, dang near, because of what we've been through in slavery. We need to get back to understanding those principles and activating it. And it's powerful that I'm seeing right now we have more entrepreneurs than ever. You know, we have more people who are getting into believing in themselves as businessmen and businesswomen and establishing that. But we have to get back to the understanding of the unity and getting away from, you know, all this divisiveness that we've gotten into in this current era. So
I feel you on that.
Those are two big hopes for me.
Yeah,
to kind of go along with the holiday season.
Man, I feel you on that. You know, let me say this. I don't really, truly and honestly, I don't feel like we come from an experience of individuality. I think we come from tribes which people work collectively in tribes.
No doubt.
This individuality thing, that's more America. That's more, I don't want to say it's white. It's more a reflection of America and the ultra capitalism.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Versus, because obviously, you know, if you Scandinavian, you probably was a Viking. You came from a collective group of people.
Yeah.
You know, the Germanic tribes of Germany. They came from collective groups of people that worked together within clans. Mm-hmm. But we've gotten so caught up in being individuals that we don't think collectively anymore, and as a result, we think that we can do it all by ourselves. Because even going back to that movie in Wonderful Life, George thought he could do it all by himself. And for real, his wife always had his back. And then when she had his back, she saw what was going on. She was working in the background, making things happen.
No doubt.
But we think we got to be such individuals. We can do everything on our own. And it's like, no, we don't have to, man. If we could just come and work together as a people, man, help each other build and grow and be better at what we do. You know, like, I love this connection that we have here, you know, talking about Pro 3, right? And how cool it is. But the reality of it is, you know, it's a relationship of reciprocity. Yeah. So there's a back and forth, give and take. We all helping each other, man. When we do that, man, we can go so far. Yeah. Y'all remember that old statement? If you want to run fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, run with somebody else.
For sure.
And just making sure you're running like with the right people too.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
But I think it's more powerful and like when you have numbers. Like if we could collectively all do something together, I don't mind splitting the profit because I'm gonna end up getting more in the long run. Because I'll be able to take on more, or have more clients, or have more opportunities, or whatever it looks like. So I don't know. I always understand the importance of having a team, the importance of having people around you to educate you on the things that you don't know. Like I know, like I don't know the first thing about starting a podcast or running a podcast or what it's like or how to do views and the numbers, but y'all do. So if I want to start a podcast, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to ask them for help because I want to take all the money. It's like, no, I'm going to ask the people and put people around me who are experts at whatever space that I'm trying to operate in.
Right.
If I don't know. Yeah. Like, I'm not one of those guys who try to just act like they know everything. Like, that's just not realistic. You know, so I think, I don't know how it got this way or when it got this way. I feel like sports drives a wedge too with a lot of that type of stuff. Like, I feel like two GOATs can coexist. Like, I don't want to make it about sports, but I'm just saying, like, I think two GOATs can coexist. I think there could be multiple GOATs or multiple great teams, or you don't have to divide everybody. That has to be like a me versus you. It's like you done things, I've done things, like, you might have done more in one area. I might have done more in one area, but that doesn't dim the light of who you are. But just America just created that narrative like there can only be one.
Right.
There can't be multiple.
Damn Highlander.
Right.
Yeah, the Highlander.
And I think it's so crazy because it's like, if you look at like companies, like the CEO is just as important as like the janitor. Right. At the end of the day, like we all have a role. We all have a job. The CEO has a job. The COO has a job. The president, like we all have a job to do. The janitor has a job. If he doesn't keep the office clean, we're gonna work in a dirty office and probably work isn't gonna get done.
And yo, to your point,
everybody is equally as important.
Right.
And
When
I've
he don't do
learned
his
that.
job, black mode, all of a sudden everybody in this joint got
it's
lung
bad,
herpes.
But I've learned that just working in the sports world, it's like we like the janitor is just as important as the guy who's a principal that's opening up the doors for us to use the court. The janitor keeps the court clean and crispy so the athlete doesn't slip and fall and tear something. The guy who opened up the gym is just as important as an athlete or as a rebounder or somebody who's passing.
Exactly.
But we all need to work. It's like the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Ecosystem, everything has to work for the next thing to work. If one thing is off, so being divided or trying to do everything yourself is just nobody's won a championship by themselves. Nobody has done anything by themselves.
Right.
You had to have a collective group of a team to help you get to where you're at.
and
I was just gonna say
Go
this
ahead.
with the collective work aspect, because I think the biggest trick that they convinced us is that it can't start within your own family.
right.
Right. I remember going to this business conference one time, and the first thing that the lady had said was that threw me off was, "Don't do business with your family. It's gonna work. It's not gonna work." Right. And that's been the narrative, right? Like it's hard to do work with your family, but when you look at, and I'm sure each individual, we all have family members that are doing dope things. You can probably think of an uncle or an aunt or a cousin that's doing dope things, but I bet y'all not connected and doing things together or supporting each other in a aspect that helps bring the whole thing up, right?
Right.
And I look at my own family like, man, within my own blood family, I'm talking about DNA blood family, I got some people doing some dope things, but we're all doing it separately instead of supporting each other. I'm a barber for 25 years, and I can count on one hand how many blood family members that support me. But I have a thorough business.
Yeah.
But my family don't come because my family looking for the discount. My family looking to cut corners and not go by my scheduling book and how I operate my business.
Right.
But instead of supporting your own blood family and starting within there, you could have such a powerhouse right within your own blood DNA, and I look at the major corporate companies like the Walmarts and the power groups of the GMs, the Ford family. You know what I'm saying? Like that's built off of family DNA that they pass down the line and make sure that it stays in the family.
Wells
You know what I
Fargo.
And the
Chase
crazy thing is, it's like
Morgan.
a lot of the people that I meet that own corporations, like their sons is like next in line. Like Bill Belichick just got the job at North Carolina. The first thing he did, he hired his son to
go.
be the defensive coordinator. Why am I gonna go get anybody else as my son coaches? Why would I go hire anybody else? It doesn't make sense.
You feel me?
Right.
But and then like to your point about like the whole discount, like one of my best friends, he's really family. We've been friends since third grade, never fell out, not once. This is like my brother. He has his own clothing line. Every time I go buy something from him, I'm paying full price. I don't even want him to give me a discount because I'm not gonna walk in like a high-end store and ask for a discount.
There you
Like
go.
if he's running his business like Dior, I'm not gonna walk in Dior and ask for a discount. They're gonna tell me to get out the store.
Immediately.
They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy and tell me to get out the store. So if he's taking care of his product that way and approaching it like a professional, I'm gonna get a respect back. I'm
Right.
not gonna try to cut corners and different things like that. But I don't want to make it a race thing. But that's just kind of like how we are in the black community. Like, but that could be a fear, like the fear of us as a family coming together and then not working. What do we look like as a family? Like, does that tear the family down? But that could be another thing. Or it's the fear of like, I ain't gonna lie, like, this is my brother right here, but like behind him, I ain't about to be more than me.
Yeah.
Especially if you like my little brother.
Right.
Some people are just like that. Like they don't want their little brother to be better than the big brother because you're the big brother and you're supposed to really put them on game. But like they don't want them to like overtake that. Or like there's even parents like at the end of the day, I know for a fact, like thank God it's not my mom, but I know for a fact that there's parents that's like, they're only gonna give their kids so much because like I want you to depend on me. I don't want you to have a house, to be a homeowner, to not need me. But like I'm still gonna need mom. I still call my mom for stuff, no matter what, no matter how much money. It doesn't matter. But some parents are like that. They're not gonna be like, I'm only gonna get them so much because I want them to depend on me, that they always feel like they need me. It's like a power trip in a way.
Yeah, you know
It's
what?
weird.
Speaking on that's really good, man. To talk about those fears of being left behind, a fear of being left behind. Because if somebody outdoes you, or fear that your family, they'll fail you. If you work with them, they'll fail you. Like we don't understand that failure is oftentimes a part of success. So when people fail us, we think it's personal versus understanding they might be somewhere in their own journey where they may not have it right now. But although it hurts us, understanding that and figuring out how we can work together so we all can succeed is what we have to do. But I hear people say all the time, I don't want to depend on nobody, because if I depend on somebody and if I don't make it, then why am I depending on somebody else, because I might fail? And I say, but two things can be true at the same time. You can work towards your own goals and dreams, work collectively with other people, and you might fail sometimes and they might fail. But the idea is to figure out a way to keep moving.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What up, folks? Stay tuned. We will continue this discussion in the next episode. Back to the lesson at hand.